Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Well, check out Deal to Heal Teas. With our inspirational teas, you're sure to find something that will inspire you. Just go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. That's Deal to Heal Teas. Get some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. That's Deal to Heal Teas at dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Hey guys, this is Earnest James, host of the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, and I got a question to ask you. Could you buy me a cheeseburger? Better yet, could you buy me a value meal? Yes? Well, guess what? I don't need a value meal. However, for the cost of a value meal, you can support this podcast to keep us on the air. Just go to Patreon/Deal to Heal podcast and choose any one of the 3 tiers that's available. And if you just want to make a one-time donation, go to Cash App and make a donation to $E James, the number 418. Make a one-time donation to the Cash App, or again, go to Patreon to support this podcast and keep us on the air. Thanks in advance. Be blessed. Welcome to Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. On this podcast, my guest and I will discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can live a life that is happy, healthy, and whole. So I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I am your host, Earnest James, and I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, to heal, and to fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and listening and tuning in. If you haven't already, listen, like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Also, give us a rating on social media, any of our social media platforms, definitely on our audio platforms on Spotify. Make sure you guys, leave us some words of encouragement, or just tell us how you feel. We good. If we're doing a good job, say we're doing a good job. If we're doing a bad job, let us know what we can do better, and we'll work on it to, make your experience better. Also, guys, I'm going to tell you how you can win $100 from the podcast. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's $100 to you, right? But you got to stay to the end in order to get that information. So make sure you are following us on our Facebook page, definitely, because we're able to share with you guys things that we got going on, things that we got coming up, and be able to communicate with you guys more on a day-to-day basis. Also, our YouTube channel, definitely want you guys to check in that so you can see the videos just as you're hearing the podcast. You can see it. See our smiling, beautiful faces, right? So make sure you guys do that. Again, I'll tell you guys how to win $100 from the podcast, but that'll be later on. You got to stay to the end to get that information. Now, we're going to jump right into today. Just like any other day, we are blessed with a guest, Miss Kendra. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am good. First of all, let me say thank you for being on the show. You could have been anywhere else, but you took out the time to be here with me and my listeners, and we definitely appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. So, Miss Kendra, we're going to get started. So the first thing I want you to do, introduce yourself to my listeners and let us and them know exactly who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay. Well, I am Kendra Nicole. I teach women how to embrace themselves no matter what shape or size. And I help them evolve the way that they think about fitness and wellness as a whole when it comes to their spirit, mind, and body. And I love what I do. I'm a master motivator. I coach them through challenges that come up in everyday life so that they can better heal themselves. And then once they heal themselves, it trickles down into their family, their livelihood, people that they come in contact with on a daily basis.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
me.
I love it. I love it. Good, good, good. So let's jump right in real quick. First of all, um, everyone that I know that's a coach or a motivator or influencer on any level also has a backstory of what prompted them or what moved them to become who they are, and not only just who they are, but in order to use their voice and their influence to help others. So, what would be your backstory? Who was Kendra that made Kendra become this highly motivated person that wanted to reach out to these women and help them become their better self?
Whew. I had a breakdown. I literally had a breakdown and I cried out to God, like, hey, excuse me, sir. Did you forget about me? Like, hello, I am here. I am struggling. I am tired of the imposter syndrome. I am tired of going around that merry-go-round and just trying to figure out what my purpose in life is, especially being multi-passionate because you have all these things and then as women, but as in human beings, period, we deal with so much and so much was coming at me. And it had been something that I realized affected me as a child, just trying to just being a people pleaser. So I'm just like, wait, hold on, this has to change. Something is not right. I know you have me here for a purpose. And when I had my really, really bad breakup, probably like 3 years ago now, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not here for this. And I know I'm not alone. Like, what is it I need to do? And it was heal me first. And it's something I had always been doing, reaching out to friends and family, like, oh, hey, you can do this for your life. You can try this. Let's try that. And then it was something natural that I thought, like, oh, everybody does this. But no, everybody does not do this. And then I'm like, okay, hey, God, so what we doing? And here I am. Here I
All right.
am. I'm
Okay.
very thankful
Okay.
about it.
Right, right. So you mentioned something earlier, and I want us to go to that a little bit. Um,
Okay.
you mentioned that you help women, with their fitness, but it's more than just fitness. It's more just than the physical part about it. But you mentioned about the mind, body, and spirit. So how does, first of all, explain to us how it's more than just physical, and what aspects, what that mean. But then also explain to us, how is it that your fitness works in with your mind, body, and your spirit?
Okay. So for me, my business, my logo is a triangle. So the triangle at the top is your for myself is the mind, and then it connects to the spirit and then the body. Because I really truly believe that when your mind is filled with clutter and self-doubt and insecurities and fears, and my great aunt taught me that fear is lack of faith. When you have that lack of faith going on and the enemy is talking to you and you believe it, your mind is boggled. It affects your spirit. You're wondering why you're
Mhm.
angry. You're wondering why you just run into it's something that always is happening to you. Then it alone affects your body, your health. It could be just a lot. So I work that in with my program to we declutter. Like, what is it? And it goes back to childhood things like, hey, I could have gone through let's say what's the word I'm looking for? Abandonment issues, where
Mhm.
someone is like, hey, my mom wasn't around or my dad wasn't around. So now I feel this void with always trying to be there for people. Then I'm wondering why I'm not getting the same thing in return. So it's like I teach them to break those barriers down. And then it could be something at work, like, hey, I'm always trying to show up and I'm getting overlooked at work. But hey, why are you trying to always just show up? What are you trying to prove? It's something you need to prove within yourself. Then once you get your mind clear, then whatever you believe in spiritually, it could be God, it could be Buddha, it could be whoever. start journaling, praying to that, try just changing the way that you think and the way that you talk to your higher power. Then work on the body. So when we do our workouts, we have the 30-minute sessions of where we talk things out, where I'm like, hey, how's your week going? What's going on? What's triggering you? And it all works together. It's a triangle. It has to flow that way for me. So that's how I incorporate that.
I like that. I like that, and I like how it all connects, because I believe that also definitely it starts with your mind, before anything else, because your mind feeds everything within your life. Your viewpoint and the way that you see things affects everything that you come in contact, whether it's people on the job. It can be walking in a grocery store. Your viewpoint and your understanding where you're mentally at affects
Mm-hmm.
everything that you do and that you see. So I really like that. Another thing that you mentioned, when you talked about, even on your own health, your own journey, that you would talk to, family and friends, and give them advice or even ask for advice. And so that brought me to another question, which I believe our community definitely plays a part in
Mm-hmm.
our healing and our journeys, right? And so I just want to ask you, outside just family and friends, but just community as a whole, how do you think that those relationships affect, the journeys that we are on, not just our mental journey, but our physical journeys too? Because I think every person that we allow in our space affects us in one way or another. So
Agreed.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I agree. Definitely. I believe energies transfer. I don't. I believe it transfers. So you have to be very selective of who you are around, especially when you are on your healing journey, because
Hmm.
it's you don't care about those things when you're a toxic individual. And everybody, I believe, has gone through a point of kind of where they've evolved, where they've grown. Where I won't say everyone has been toxic, but you've had those moments of just where you learn. You're not thinking the same way you were at 18, 25. You're like, you're not. So you grow. So community does help a lot. I know outside of my mom and my immediate family and friends, I have a group of women that I became a part of. And this group really helped me find more of my voice. And I have to shout out them. That's the P2P women. It's a great incubator for Patrice Washington. Like, that was a very, very great space where I learned, hey, not all women are trying to pull you down, or not, it's not as bad as how you think, and you are not alone. So if you don't have that space with your immediate family or friends, I encourage you to go find a Facebook group, something that's free, somewhere where it's always somebody who has gone through something that you are dealing with, that can understand and that has healed, so they can kind of help you find that community that you need to be in. And then I got a therapist. I was a therapy. I had to get somebody that didn't know me, that was like,
Mhm.
okay, that can
Right,
listen to
right,
me and not be like judging. And I
right.
felt like, ooh, but it took me a like 3 therapists. The first one, I was like, oh girl, no, this is not it. Like, I didn't feel comfortable. So you have to
Right.
find that space that where you feel safe, where you are not judged. And that's how I welcome women for me. Like, I'm like, hey, because I know that feeling. I want you to be able to breathe, cry, break down, and be like, you know what, you understand where I'm coming from, because community is everything. Like, because sometimes your family's not gonna understand, your friends not gonna
Right.
understand. They're gonna look at you and be like,
Right.
"Girl, are you okay? Are you crazy? Like, what's
Right.
going on?" Or it's not even just females, just man, you okay? Like, for men,
Hmm.
like if you cry to somebody and they're like, "Well, why are you crying? What's going on?" Like, especially men of color, like, what's like, you need that. You need that community. Because at one point, I know my family was like, "Oh," because I'm not emotional. I don't cry, but I had been doing like lives, and I was crying one time, and then my mom was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" They didn't understand the process. And
Right.
they thought I was
Right.
going crazy. So I was like, no, it's a process. So community
Right.
definitely is everything. It shapes you. It helps you, especially a community that's going to call you out. That's going to say, hey, I understand you're going through something, but this may not be the path that you want to go through. Or, hey, you're wrong. Or, hey, yeah, you're right, but let's look at this from a different set of lens. You're not the victim. You're not being victimized. We're not, trying to bully you or anything like that, because we want you to feel
Right.
safe and just be open. So, yeah, community it's a process. Oh, it is needed,
Right. Right.
especially during healing. It is needed.
Right, right. So I wanna touch on a couple of things that you said. Number one, first of all, I want to say congratulations for not only going to get a therapist, but when the first one didn't work, you stuck with it. So I definitely want to congratulate you on that, because that within itself is a feat that a lot of us don't take, especially in our community. First of all, to reach out for help outside of your circle or your immediate circle. We generally don't do it. And so I congratulate you not only having um, the I don't even know what the word I want to say, but not only to having the spirit, I just say spirit to do
Mhm.
it, but to stick with it again after the first one didn't work. Hey, let me go somewhere else. Let me stay on this journey. So I definitely wanted to mention to congratulate you on that. The second thing is when we're on our journey. A lot of times, I agree with you that our family and friends they're not going to understand, and generally because unless they've been on that same journey or are on that journey, they're not going to understand it because it's different from their day to day. It's
Mhm.
different from who you are today. When you started that journey, you're changing and you're growing in whatever way. And like you said, even in the fact that you were not usually emotional, but now you're going through this journey, and so now you're more in touch with your emotions and expresses of them, and everybody's like, "Oh, wait a minute, what's going on?" It's like, no, it's just that journey. But unless you're on that journey or have been through that to find that inner voice, that inner strength that you have, generally our family and friends most of the time haven't been on that journey, and sometimes we're the first one in our circle to start that journey. And so there is a lot of misunderstanding. Why you changing? Why you doing this different? You used to do this, and now you don't want to. Like, look, I'm on something else now. I'm on another path, and a lot of times our family friend just is not going to understand that. Which brings me to my next thing that you said, which is the community, and finding those communities, especially as women, those communities that's going to come and gather around you, that's going to influence you, that's going to uplift you, that's going to pour into you, on a day-to-day, probably not a day-to-day basis, but at least a weekly basis, or
Mhm.
however often that they meet. I know a friend of mine, she started a women's group. I don't know what all they do, but I know it's a women's group, and they're going on about 6 years now, and they meet every Saturday through Zoom. Meet every Saturday morning, I think at 7 o'clock every Saturday, and she started that, and they've been doing it. Like I said, they're going on like 6 years now, and they're growing and study growing, and I think that's amazing to have those type of um, platforms, and not only just to have the platform, but to touch people in a way that they're willing to come. They're
Mhm.
willing to come. They're willing to share, because when your community get so good that they're inviting others in, you know what I mean? Like you found, it's like you found something. You find something. Oh, this is great. Let me tell somebody about it. That's when you know that you're doing something right. So that community is so very important, and I think that's a major plus in all of our relationships and all of the things that we go to do, whether it's on the job, fun, play, whatever, to find a community to build around whatever your interest is only going to improve you to, even more.
Mhm.
So we were talking about health and fitness, right? And so one of the things that we often have to take in consideration is the, let's just say, social media, or the outlook that society has, and the emphasis that they put on what healthy looks like, or
Mm-hmm.
what beauty looks like, what this standard is. And I'm just amazed now on, it used to be, you know, a woman thing, as far as like focus so much on beauty and your appearance and things like that. So I would always see women, whether it's makeup or whatever that they're, doing to enhance themselves. But now we got to the point that it's men. I'm saying the men with the pieces, not just the hair pieces, but then they got fake beards now, and then all this other stuff that they have. And they got, I know the women always had, girdles and things to kind of hold them in, but now they got stuff for men. I'm like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is so fixated on this, whatever it's supposed to be, this image that is being portrayed or put forth within the media and society of what healthy is supposed to look like, and I think they do all of us an injustice by setting these so-called standards. It only can be a standard if you apply to that, which I don't, but it starts with you. You know what I mean? I think it starts with you, and so you have to battle what society says is healthy, with what health really is. Because
Mm-hmm.
I had someone on a while back, Bernadette Henry, and Bernadette is Make It Fun NYC is her Instagram name, and she does the jump rope. And you probably seen her because she be everywhere on TikTok and everything. She does the jump rope videos, and I remember talking with her, sort of around these lines, because people would make comments about her weight and things like that, because it was like, oh, you supposed to be working out, or you supposed to be this fitness person, but you don't look like this, and
Mm-hmm.
so constantly having to have this conversation, like, just because I don't look like that don't mean I'm not healthy, And so, just in your opinion, what is your viewpoint on even just society and what they say, healthy should look like, and then from your perspective, and how you encourage your women that take your class to what is that real standard of what healthy is supposed to be.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I am so glad because I am a plus size woman to the world. Like I'm curvy,
Mm-hmm.
I have stretch marks, back row, like all of that. But I can out work out some women who
Mm-hmm.
are smaller than me. Like my endurance level, my strength is well over the 30, 45 minutes of than someone who is weighing less than me and less body fat. And I used to have that hold me back because my weight has fluctuated throughout my life. Like I've been smaller, I've been heavier, I've listened to what people say, oh well, you would be cuter if you lost more weight, or you're cute for a dark skinned girl. Like it just, and all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
you hear those things and it's like you start to believe that. That's why I say when it goes down to the mind and it affects your spirit. And then I would gain more weight back, like, oh well, I don't look like this girl. And I was comparing myself. So I tell women beauty for you is however you are coming and showing up. Like as long as you are moving and you are doing something, that's why I don't really, I love the fitness part, I love the fitness aspect. Definitely move your body. Definitely if you go and walk, you are doing something, because it could be health reasons, it could be high blood pressure, it could be all of those factors that genetics running your background. But move your body. I'm definitely an advocate of that, doing something. But wellness could be, like I said, your mindset. It could be all kind of stuff. So I try to get them to, and even myself, not when I'm looking on Instagram and I'm looking at other fitness coaches and I'm like, oh dang, they're really killing it. And I'm like, let me see if I can try this. And I exceed and I do it. But I get people that say, oh, well, you're a wellness coach, but you don't look like this girl. You're not doing this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's her. That's heard. That's great. But I've been on diets where I've been extreme with it and I dropped weight quickly, but it wasn't long term. It did not sustain my lifestyle because again, when something happened, I was back on that roller coaster. Now I work out to be for my peace of mind. I work out to for my endurance, for my cardiovascular, and I still enjoy my food that I want to eat. Like I'm not hindering myself. I don't look at food as a punishment anymore. So I tell women too, they're like, oh, I don't want to go over this amount of calories. I don't want to do that. You're not gonna gain 20 pounds by eating like a good favorite food in one day. Like you're not. Like that's
Mhm.
impossible. Like it's not that I had to break that barrier down because I had to for myself. Like I would use food as a punishment. I would be like, oh well, I ate really bad today, so tomorrow I've got to work out really, really hard. And I teach women like, hey, let that fear go. Like, because you're not living, you're not enjoying yourself. You're going out to dinner and you're with your friends or you're with your husband or you're on a date and you're up here counting, well, can I eat this today? Because I want to look like this girl. You know, I had the body goals to look like, you know,
Mhm.
Kim Kardashian today. That's not real. like, or I have women that say, oh, I'm just gonna get a BBL and then I'm gonna work and then I'll be fine. No, you still got to work out. Like if you want to get surgery, okay, that is fine. That's off you, but you still have to be realistic. You're looking at some of these Instagram models who one have probably paid for their body, and then now they're promoting a workout. So I try to
Mhm.
have them look at someone who looks like them, who's actually gone through a journey where you've seen their progress, where you've seen their change, where you've seen okay their struggles, you've seen where it's been a hard week or a hard month. Like if you're gonna follow someone on social media, make sure it's someone that's relatable, not somebody that's I don't want to say that's already there because they haven't really shown you the real. I mean,
Mhm.
I really can't say that they have. Like they're showing you, oh, buy my shakes, buy my waist trainer, like you said, like oh, get this to help you look better. And then now you're looking at their page, and now you're beating yourself up because you're like, well, dang, I don't look like them yet.
Right.
Like I I love and hate social media. Like I have a love and hate relationship with it because of that. Because I used to be that person, and sometimes, like I said, even if I'm scrolling now, I limit myself on the time frame how often I'm on my phone looking at social media. Now I'm like, nope, all right, I'm good. If it's not something that's gonna make me laugh or I'm posting up something, I try not to look at other people, other influencers that much. Like if it's somebody I'm like, oh hey, I've seen their progression, but other people, because that'll get in your mind, and what you see, hear, and think, you it all flows. Like you see something, you're gonna think about it. You hear something, you're gonna think about it. Like that's just how we're wired. And I definitely love teaching women like, hey, don't compare yourself. Show up as you are. That's one of my favorite sayings. I put this under all my posts. Like, I am evolving no matter what shape or size. Like every day. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. You are still evolving. It may not be physically this week. It could be mentally. It may not be mentally. It could be spiritually. You probably prayed a lot more this week. Guess what? You are
Mhm.
changing, and all of that affects you as a whole, all of it. So that's my rant. Like,
No, no, that's good. That's good. And I want to go back to one of the things that you said was, your advice was to find someone who, uh, let's say, looks like you, right?
mhm,
And so I really appreciate that, and that's why I wanted to have you on for one, because you are a plus size woman, and
mhm,
also, like I mentioned, Bernadette, the same thing, because I want us to be free to be who we are. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like if I was standing up, you'll see I got a gut. But that's why I'm sitting down, so you don't see it. But you know what I'm saying? But if I'm on social media and I'm looking, you know, it would encourage me to be able to see people that look like me,
Mhm.
and when we're in those spaces, and you that way you're not comparing yourself to somebody else who has nothing like you, who don't
Mhm.
live the same lifestyle that you live, who don't live, have the same stresses that you have, whose community is not the same. All of these
Exactly.
things play a part in who we are, both mentally and physically and spiritually, and so
Mm-hmm.
when you're comparing yourself by some pictures or some 30-minute or 60-second videos that someone put up, like, this is my life, and now you're trying to live up to that, is not healthy. That within itself is not healthy, not mentally or
Mm-hmm.
physically. But when you can look on and find someone like yourself and say, hey, she looks like me, I can relate to her, and she's doing it. And like, also, like you said, you see the journey. It's like, oh, this is not
Mm-hmm.
just someone that's popping up as a finished product and like, hey, I made it. And you're like, from where? Like, where did you start? How did you get there? You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
skipped the whole part up in there, like, I'm still at the beginning and you tomorrow, so I'm here. How do I get there? And how can I trust you if you can't show me that progression? If you can't show me
Mm-hmm.
that same journey that you went on. And so that's why I appreciate people like yourself, who come on and do that workout, do whatever it is that they do, and represent themselves and others who look like you, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
the complexion, whether it's nationality, whether it's gender or whatever. You can find someone who you can relate to and say, this is where I am, and that person can help me get to where I'm trying to get to. And so I definitely appreciate what you do and how you show up on social media. um,
Thank you.
no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about before we get out of here, not only do you show up, but you have programs to help, other people. So tell us a little bit about your programs for our listeners, for my listeners, so that they can know exactly what it is that you do and be able to check out your stuff, online, and probably even connect with you on that level. So tell us a little about your programs. I know you got the I think it's SAS. And
Sweat and smile. Yes.
yes, I don't know if you listen to the podcast a lot, but I love acronyms. So whenever I see an acronym, I get happy for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm crazy, but but I love acronyms. So I always be like, okay, what does it mean? Because it's always like a secret code, sort of. You know what I mean? So so tell us a little bit about your programs and things that you offer.
Okay, so SAS is Sweat and Smile. That is my baby. I absolutely love that program. It is a 40-minute workout for 3 days a week. And each workout, I do that with my clients. We show up different times that are conducive for the both of us or for the client, however, whichever comes first, what they need. And I assess them like, hey, if you've ever worked out before, to see, where you are, what's brought you to me. And then we take baby steps. We're like, hey, okay, if this is what you need this week, this is what we're doing. So it's 4 weeks of 3 days a week. So it get 12 sessions and we work out. That is the basis of it. We work out, we chit chat. I kind of learn you a little bit, learn what you need. And it's favorite. It is my favorite because I'm moving, you're moving. Like, I'm coaching you through it. I'm making sure like your stance is correct. Like, you are all together. I offer this program online and in person. If you are in my area, then I'm in the Virginia area right now. So that program. Then the other one I have is a 3-month program, and that is called Health, and it's an acronym. It's an acronym. I love it. I love. You said you love acronyms, and so do I, because it's just really breaking it down to being honest with yourself, educating yourself, and taking accountability, loving yourself, giving yourself time, and heal. So that's health, and that is for 3 months. And there is when we dive deep, where I'm going through the triggers. I'm like, hey, what's going on this week? We meet up on Sundays, and it's like, hey, okay, I'm coaching you. We have a coaching call, and then you get the 3 days of working out, or if it's 2 days for you, and then however you need it, and you see yourself really change more. So it's kind of like after you take Sweat and Smile, you kind of graduate, and then you go to like, hey, I want to do the healing part. Or if you want to do the healing part first, then go down to, hey, I just need 4 weeks now. Either way, it's fine. But those are my two great programs there on my Instagram under my sociotap link. And I would love for anyone to go ahead and come on in, embrace yourself, no matter what shape or size. Smile. That's definitely how Sweat and Smile came about. Because I'm always smiling, even when I'm working out, and people think I'm a little crazy for smiling, but I'm happy as you should be. And I want you to feel that
Right.
same smile and energy during your healing journey, during your wellness journey. Just be happy about life.
Right. And I also want to say I like I even want to say like I love that you said that because that makes so much of a difference. Is I'm happy. Those words, those two words, I've been having some conversations this week, just this week alone.
Okay.
Having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and we're talking about some other friends that we know who have called, and was sharing some things, and it probably was a good two or three different people, but we're having this conversation because they're talking about, some of them are suicidal and someone's going through this and that, and I don't know what to do, and I wanted to get married, but I don't think that's for me, and what the relationship things or whatever. And what I said was, it's because people are putting so much responsibility of their own happiness in the hands of someone else. It's like, I need you to make me happy. Do this for
Mm-hmm.
me, fix me, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's an internal journey. Something that you have to
Mm-hmm.
find within yourself and fix within yourself. Only you can make you happy. And everyone else can be a benefit to that. They can add to your
Mm-hmm.
happiness, but your own happiness has to start with you. And so just to be able to say those two words, I'm happy, is a testament of the work that you've done already, and the journey that you're on. And I'm glad that you're
Mm-hmm.
in that space, because when you're in that space, then you're able to transfer that to other people. And like you said, you smile, your smile is infectious. I've been smiling since I've been talking to you, and so when you have that, you're in that space, and to be able to give that light out into the world and to the women that come into your program and things like that. I think that is an amazing feat, and I want to congratulate you on that, and I'm so happy that you're doing that, because
Thank
again,
you.
and with you, like you said, you got that triangle that starts with the body, the mind, the body, and the spirit. You like those three things, and if you're working on those three things and you're pouring into people on those three things, they have no if they take that journey seriously, they have no
Mm-hmm.
expectation but to get to the end and be able to say those same two words, I'm happy. And I think that is amazing to be able to speak that in your life, for any person to just be, hey, how you doing? And to be able to honestly say, I'm happy. Just
Yes.
that just by itself, just I'm happy. You ain't gotta
Yes.
explain, just I'm happy. I
Yes.
think that is wonderful. And so I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you that you're
Thank
happy.
you.
And I'm also happy that you're able to share that happiness with others and work with them on that journey. So thank you for everything that you've done for yourself, but also for what you do for other people. I really
Thank
appreciate that. I think it's
you.
great. No
Thank
problem, no
you.
problem.
I'm blessed. God
So,
definitely has worked on me and is still working on me. So I'm very
mhm,
grateful for him, and that I'm able to say that, because it was a point where I could not say that. So I definitely appreciate that. Thank
right,
you.
right. But I think that those tests add to our testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Those tests add to our journey. The mess that we have been through, and or that we have gone through, only adds to our message, especially as
Mm-hmm.
influencers and motivators. I heard a quote a while back. I don't know who came up with it first, but I've heard it several times. But is, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, right? And so when you go to tell someone you care about them, they first thing they want to know, how do you relate to what I'm going through? A lot of times, just being transparent. I lost my mom some years ago, and so when someone else, loses a parent, everyone's going to say, my condolences, I'm sorry, whatever, but it's a different place that you can speak from when you've been through that experience. And so when you say, I know how you feel, you really know how you feel, or you
Mm-hmm.
really know how they feel. And so when have those things that you come through, myself, I've shared on the podcast many of times about my journey and how I dealt with depression and even suicidal
Mm-hmm.
ideations myself. But I'm very open about it because I want that to be able to help someone else. And again, that's part of my testimony. That's how I'm able to stand
Yeah.
here and have these conversations, because I've been through it. So now I'm able to tell
Right.
somebody you can get through it because I did. And I'm just a regular person, you know.
Right. Oh, I agree because I was functioning through depression and suicide and not thinking I was enough and just I can definitely understand. That's why I say I'm glad that I'm at this point, and I have told women, hey, I know what you're going through. Like I definitely can understand that, and that's what I say when the enemy comes and attacks your mind, it's a wrap.
Mhm.
So it is a wrap. So I definitely know what you mean. So yes, I have shared that story as well with individuals and just in general, in general.
Mhm.
So yeah, whew, I'm
Right,
glad
right.
God kept me.
All right, so I'm glad that part is over.
Yeah,
Kendra, again, I want to thank you so very much for being on, for taking out the time to be here. I really enjoyed, your smile. I enjoyed, talking with you and, just having a conversation. I want you to get us, to leave us with a word of advice, motivation, whatever comes to your mind that I want you to leave us with. And also, your social media handles and where the people can find you in order to get in contact with you, work with you, sign up for your programs and things like that. So I'll let you have the last word. I'll give you a second to think about that. While you're thinking about it, to all of my listeners, thank you guys once again for joining in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I am your host, Earnest James. And so I told you guys at the beginning that I was going to tell you how you can win $100 from the podcast. And it's very simple. You can win $100 by entering our super subscriber contest. So, what do you have to do? You have to subscribe to our YouTube page, to our Facebook page, and to our podcast on Spotify. You have to subscribe to all three. And after you have subscribed to all three, you want to text the word WIN, WIN, to 866-326-0730. That's text the word WIN, WIN, to the number 866-326-0730. And after you've done that, you will automatically be entered into our super subscriber contest. And the super subscriber contest is a random contest that is random, as far as when we pick our winners. It's a random contest. We do it at any time, and it's ongoing, which means it never stops. So you can win this year, you can win next year, you can win tomorrow. There's no time period. Once you're in, you're in. So, but you got to get in order to win, right? So again, you can win $100 from the podcast by joining our super subscriber contest. You have to subscribe to our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and our Spotify podcast, and then text the word WIN to 866-326-0730. That's how you win, guys. And we look forward to hearing from you guys. So, Miss Kendra, again, let me say thank you very much for being on. Thank you for taking out the time to be here, to telling us, sharing with us your story, sharing with us your beautiful smile and your affection. Um, I appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you for taking out your
thank
time.
you.
And I'll let you have the last word. So the floor is yours.
Okay, so guys, you can follow me on all my social media. That's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and that is at Think Thick, and that's two C's. So it's THINKTHICC and you can follow me there. We can link up. You can message me. I am an open door. I am replying all the time. And let's see. So a motivational something, I have said this before, but don't allow yourself to prematurely die. And when I say that, that's not just dying from actually dying, but your spirit dying. Like you are in control of you. You are enough. You are meant to be here for that reason. And now it is time for you to go ahead and step into your season and don't prematurely die.
That's it. We can't do no better than that. That's it. So to my listeners, thank you guys again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Well, our mission is to help you to deal, to heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. So until next week, we'll see you guys later. Be blessed. Hey guys, I know you're enjoying the podcast. However, don't forget to join our text line at 866-326-0730. That's 866-326-0730 in order to receive text messages with new events and things that is going on and new episodes as they release. All right, see you in a minute. Thanks for listening to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Remember to listen, like, subscribe, and share. This episode has been brought to you by Deal to Heal Teas. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Remember, our mission is to help you to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for listening.